Good morning, everybody. This is Ben Abuntana from Payments and Co. And today I want to talk to you about a card data breach from a manufacturing company called Kubota USA in particular. Now, at Payments and Co, we run a program which is a managed service to help you manage your card data and to avoid card data breaches like this or being on the front page of most organizations. Now, this video is designed to explain how this could have happened to a tractor manufacturer in the USA and all the kind of clues as to why the hackers would have gotten access to their card data. So, I believe it was July or thereabouts that this card data breach was announced, and they said the hackers sat on their network or had access to their network for about a month. And I'm going to explain how I believe this could have happened. Now, I have no access to any confidential data or any top secret data from Kubota. I do not work for Kubota. I do not know Kubota. In fact, it's my first time knowing them in researching for this video. So don't come at me. I'm only using publicly available information to digest and make this video. So the first thing we do in any organization is ask the question, how do you take card payment and where does that payment go? Most organizations make a big mistake in asking this question once a year or maybe several years ago and never do it again. That is the biggest problem. So we're going to start by looking at how does Kubota USA take card payment. And the first thing you will notice is they say, number one, you register online. Now, I have a feeling this register online is not to a third party that encrypts the card data. So they are taking the data, holding it internally, and thinking that their security is going to be good enough. It's never going to be good enough. And they hold the card data. And in this process, they will get the credit card number and CVV number, because they need that to take the payment. Now, their process may then be that they collect all this information and send it off to the bank. All of that means their systems have access to that data. Massive red flag number one that I can see from the outside, right? And if I can see it, guarantee you hackers who are 10 times more intelligent than me would have seen with a barge pole. So that's problem number one. Number two, they're saying pay by phone. Now, many people misunderstand what this is. If you are not using a DTMF phone system, then that data by phone, you could as well just hand it over to the hackers, right? Because it's just there for the taking. So payment by phone, if not DTMF, not good enough. Number three, they said recurring payment. Now, this is always a concern. Recurring auto payment involves you registering your information with Kubota, and Kubota then monthly charges that card, meaning you register that card with them. Well, if this recurring payment does not have the words, and I'm sure the Kubota folks may see this video, well, I can easily tell from the outside the problems that you have. I'm happy to help. If this does not have the word tokenization in it, you've got a problem. Without tokenization, again, you could have just handed over that card data to the hackers because it's just sitting out there waiting to be hacked, right? So recurring payment, always tokenization. Number 4, I have here is pay by mail. Now, this obviously includes the idea that customers send their card data in and then it is processed. Well, if you consider that process of sending that card data in, every single juncture in there is effectively giving the hackers an opportunity to be able to come in and take that data. Now, I am sure Kubota's security team will say something like, we have a document that says PCI compliant. We do our attestation of compliance every year. Well, I hate to break it to you, unless you critically assess that document, and in the industry today, I would say an average of 95%, right? Let me write this down. 95% of all AOCs/ROC in circulation today, and most likely in America, are fake, fabricated document just to get you by, and that is part of the problem. So if you have a document that you're gonna flag up and say, hey, we have a PCI document, most of them are fake, fabricated. You could as well say you bribed your way to getting that documentation, because if this is how Kubota takes card payment today in 2026, then they've got a major problem. Now, if you are a manufacturer like Kubota and you have this problem, of course, we're happy to help. But if these are the ways in which you take payments, you've got a problem. You've got a major problem. And if you don't act quickly, the hackers are going to be waiting for you. Now, let me quickly address the point around why they would have been able to gain access to the organization. Well, there are plethora of ways in which hackers will get into your network. Most importantly is you have customers and you have staff. Now, both of them are going to be accessing your network. Now, there's a whole cybersecurity reasons why this may or may not have been allowed to happen, which cybersecurity effectively is the foundation upon which PCI sits on. So I can only protect your network if your if your cybersecurity framework is solid enough, and it needs to be solid, right? Now, the way customers get into your network to register their credit card is crucial, because as we can see from these lists here, it's clear that these are not very secure from what I can see from the outside. Now, they may say otherwise, but you know, like I said, from the onset, this is what I can see. How the staff get into the network is also another problem. Even those who are in the office or those who are outside the office and work remotely. And then you have third parties. Who are the third parties that are being used on this network to handle credit card data? So the idea of the hacker sitting on the network is clearly showing that what something called access control is weak. It's got to be, right? Access control is weak, and what the bad guy needs to do, let me try to draw the bad guy here. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, well, you get the point. Bad guy sits in the network and waits. There's no need to act immediately after they get into the network. So what they would have done in that 1 month period in which they sat inside your network is primarily to listen to your ways of working, to look at who is sending who emails, to look at how the card data is coming, to look at where the card data is sitting, to look at where card data comes in unencrypted, right? And that's why I came to that conclusion that 95% of the attestation of compliance out there are fabricated. And if you don't believe me, I'm happy to sign a non-disclosure agreement and a confidentiality agreement with you. You send me your attestation of compliance, and how you take card payment, I will be able to prove to you within 3 working days why yours may be fake too. So, hacker sits on the network and listens. The reason they are listening is they want to gather as much information as possible, and they'll stay quietly. If you missed the fact that the hackers are sitting on your network, that is an information security problem. You've got a risk that you haven't addressed for a very long time, and it's just sitting there to be exploited. So what they would do is they would copy that data. See, at Payments and Co., there's one principle in which we have, which is the hackers want to get your credit card, right? That's the only thing they're interested in. They may be interested in your name, address, blah, 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 all that stuff. But none of that, you cannot take money from somebody's name and address. You can exploit it, but it's a much more long-winded process. However, with the credit card, they will be able to take money from your card, especially if you have CVV number attached to it. And that is why, if Kubota looks into its network today, or any other manufacturer for that matter, look into their network today and they see that there is credit card with CVV number, you can never be PCI compliant. It's the golden rule. That's how you know the document is fake, because if your organization takes card data plus CVV, you will never, in the clear, you will never be PCI compliant. That's the golden rule. That's how you know it, right? So, if the hacker is sitting on the network listening to this traffic, they will be able to listen to this by phone because it's in the clear, right? In the digital aspect of the phone, they will be able to replay that. Recurring payment, I mean, that's just gifting them the stuff, right? And they then take the data and disappear. The only way you, the customer, then gets to know that something has gone wrong is usually when they start taking the money out of the account, or they make a public statement that, hey, we hacked your network, we got your money, or a ransomware attack in which they say, hey, we're going to shut down your network, or we shut down your network, you pay us, and we release your data. So, who do I blame for this? Number one, head of treasury or CFO. This data you should have cleaned up a while ago. In 2026, there's no excuse for having this kind of data available to the hackers. Number two, information security. And I know, you already have a tough job to do, but in 2026, there is no excuse for allowing hackers to sit on your network for a whole month undetected, right? And for even allowing card data to exist in the first place. So, finally, at Payments and Co., what makes us unique and pisses off a lot of people, to be frank with you, is that we make sure there is no card data throughout your network. The reason for that is, if there is no card data in your network, and we keep it that way, and that's why we run an annual managed service. It's not cheap, but that's what protects you from the front pages of newspapers. If there is no card data to steal in your network, there is nothing to steal. We're not saying bad guys will never get into your network. That's almost inevitable. But when there's nothing to steal, you've got nothing, right? And we make sure that is the case. The exercise of keeping card data out of your organization is probably the third reason why Kubota is at fault here, because that is a process that needs to take place rigorously and periodically across your network. It's not something you do once a year and let it go. So, zero card data is effectively what I'm trying to say. If your organization can achieve zero card data, when the hackers come in, there will be nothing for them to steal. I hope this video has been helpful, especially if you're in the industry or looking for help. do feel free to drop me an email. My email is ben@paymentsandco.com, and I'll be happy to assess your AOCs for you or help you get your organization into PCI compliant ways and avoid the media front pages. Take care.